Hi, my name is Kirsten Bible, and I've been thinking about making this video for a while to share basically a miraculous supplement treatment that I've been using for ulcerative colitis for going on 20 years. So I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 2003 after a flare-up caused by anxiety and stress when I was pursuing my doctorate in music. And it was pretty horrible. I went, got a colonoscopy, got the diagnosis, and I looked at the medicine they wanted to prescribe me, and it was like the list of side effects were almost worse than the condition. And I thought there's got to be an alternative. Right around the same time, I'd been looking at doing the Atkins diet, trying to reduce my sugar and carb intake, and I picked up this book, the Atkins Vita Nutrient Solution. This has become like my Bible of health. And I opened it up and I thought, I'm just gonna look and see if there's anything in here. And literally on the second page, there was a story about a patient who had an 11-year history of ulcerative colitis. I'm not going to go into the gross details because you already know what that is if you have ulcerative colitis. But he was requiring 2 pain-killing enemas every day. Oh my God, I was thinking, what? After 2 weeks of targeted Vita nutrient therapy and a sugarless diet, he began to improve. Within 6 weeks, his bowel function was completely normal, and within 3 months, he was off all medications. Sold. Sign me up. What do I do? So I read this book from cover to cover, and I learned about the different supplements. And then I flipped over to the back to look at the targeted treatments for various conditions. And I decided to do as many of these things that I could find either online. It was 2003, so it was kind of really the beginning of ordering things online, and at local stores. And within 3 weeks, my symptoms had completely cleared up. And I was just like, this is amazing. Now, all of that stuff was pretty expensive. Supplements are not cheap. So then I decided, somewhere along there, I got lazy. I didn't decide, I got lazy. 2005, a couple years later, I had stopped taking it. And I had a flare up. And I was just like, oh no, I'm going to have to go buy all of this stuff and I'm going to have to take 3 weeks off. Yikes. But I hadn't been off of it for very long. And so I went and bought all the stuff, and I told my boss at the time, I was a receptionist, I would be out for 2 to 3 weeks. It cleared up in a weekend. In a weekend! It's like, okay. So life goes on. And I started to pull some of the supplements out of my regimen simply because of money. Because what I discovered was that it was 2 supplements that I was taking that dealt specifically with inflammation for autoimmune diseases. So inflammation that is caused by that immune response, right? So ulcerative colitis, your immune system is basically attacking the lining of your colon for the horrible result that we all know. Okay, so I narrowed it down to 2 things. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing these correctly, pantothenic acid and pantethine. Now you can see that currently I have 2 different lines of products just because pantethine normally comes as a gel cap, and I got it this summer and they were all melted together because we had such a heat wave this summer. So I actually found a company that sells it as a capsule, which is not the norm, honestly. So I found these 2 things, and what it says in this book, which I do recommend that you purchase and read. You can get a Kindle version, which I also have, or you can buy the hard copy. Basically what it tells you is that you need, large amounts, and you also need to take them in equal amounts. So what I have here is 500 milligrams of pantothenic acid and 500 milligrams of pantethine. Yay, I have exactly the same amount. When I first started treating myself, and let me tell you, I've never taken the prescription medication for ulcerative colitis. when I first started treating myself with this, I was taking this 2 to 3 times a day. I'm now at the point where I take it 3 times a week. I did have another flare-up in 2016. Another stressful time in my life. It was good stress. I was doing things that I was happy, but I was super busy and stressed out. And I had a really, really bad flare. Ooh. Because I'd stopped taking them again. Like, why would I do that? But I did. So I thought, okay, I need to go back on them. And what I discovered was, because I'd been off of them for quite a while, was that it takes a while, as I'd initially discovered when I first started doing this back in 2003, for these to build up in your system. These are not an overnight fix, okay? These are something that build up in your system over time. So what I ended up doing for that flare-up, I had a round of steroids that I had in my bathroom cabinet, you know, one of those, just in case you need them, when I'd gotten the flu or something, that I ended up not needing. So I took that and it settled my flare-up down. Now, I am not a believer in long-term steroid use, corticosteroids, prednisone, absolutely not. I'm a cancer survivor. I had breast cancer that was diagnosed last year. I'm not going to keep putting that stuff in my body. So just take it for what it is. This is not a quick fix, okay? But I started taking it again and I never stopped. That was 2016. I haven't had a flare-up since. In fact, I went and had a colonoscopy this year and my doctor didn't actually believe that I had ulcerative colitis. It had been such a long time. I didn't have my original medical records. He thought for sure I had been misdiagnosed. And I was like, no. If you know, you know. You know what to look for. You know what the signs and symptoms are. There's a huge difference between, let me just be a little bit gross, like constipation and hemorrhoid combination and ulcerative colitis. I know what to look for. You know, if I've had a run of, you know, the runs, I have music people who watch these videos, so I hope at this point they've already like dialed out and like, oh, she's not talking about music. But if I've had a run of the runs and my husband's like, ooh, it's not ulcerative colitis again, I was like, no, I know exactly what to look for. It's not behaving like that at all. This is your run-of-the-mill runs. So, in conclusion, I want to stress that I am not a doctor, but I am a patient. And I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 2003. And I've never taken the prescription medication. And the only time that I've had flare-ups is when I stopped taking these 2 supplements, pantethine and pantothenic acid. I highly recommend you buy this book and read it from cover to cover. This is the Atkins Vita Nutrient Solution. So anyway, I wanted to make this video because I see these commercials all the time for ulcerative colitis, and I'm appalled that people suffer with this, and they suffer so much, and they're missing out on their daily life. So I would recommend that you read the book, purchase some of the supplements, and talk to your doctor about wanting to add these supplements to your diet. You do need to let your doctor know. It's like, hey, I'm adding some supplements, and I just kind of want to see how they work. So anyway, I hope this information has been helpful for you. I want to stress again, I am not a doctor. I am only a patient. I hope it works for you as well as it's worked for me. Because ulcerative colitis is a horrible, horrible disease. And when you're caught in the middle of a flare, you really do. You have to plan your life around the nearest restroom. I've literally gone into a job interview where it was not pretty. It was really hard for me because I was in pain and I had to run to the bathroom several times before the interview. You know, if you're watching this video, you know. So anyway, have a really blessed day, and let me know if you try this and it works for you. So yeah, as you can see, it's Christmas time. I think there's a tree in the background. So Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. Thanks for watching. Bye.